What are quarterly goals? And what are the steps that you can take to make sure you achieve them in the weeks and months ahead? My name is Niamh from Better Workday, and today we are going to be talking about practical things that you can do to make sure you're successful. Let's begin by understanding what quarterly goals are. There are two types of quarterly goals in the workplace. The first is professional development and the second is performance, both of which are set for 3 months at a time and are usually connected to a bigger, longer term 12-month or annual goal. When it comes to professional development goals, these are areas where you are looking to improve or strengthen in order to excel in your current role, to move to a different team and a different type of job, or maybe to be promoted. When we're looking at professional development, it does usually form part of a longer term plan. And we want to make sure that we're always continuing to develop and grow in the workplace. Performance goals, on the other hand, are to do with delivering results that help move the company forward. So the company will likely have an overarching, high-level company goal that's probably going to be a year-long or perhaps multi-year. Every team and department in the company is then going to have a related sub-goal so that they can play their part in achieving that big dream. Your team is going to have its own goals, and of course then you are going to play your specific part in achieving that. The important thing to remember about this is that it's all interconnected. So while you will always be doing your best to play your part and achieve your goal, you'll always be considering how others are getting on, maybe how they can help, and perhaps how they may be causing issues that you want to overcome with them. When you are looking at your professional development and your performance goals in work, you might also be considering financial rewards. Many companies link part of their bonus to performance goals. And then when you're looking to get your annual salary increase or to get a promotion or a job change, you'll be considering both your performance and also your professional development. This is why it's so important to measure and track your progress so that you can always refer to it when the time is needed. Now that you've got a light understanding of what quarterly goals are, let's get into some things that you can do to make sure that you achieve them. The first step is to make sure you understand what success looks like. What is the end result that is going to be achieved? What are you working towards? Most importantly, when it comes to work goals, you want to make sure that you are on the same page as your manager or the person who has set that goal for you. This is critical because it's going to avoid all of those emails and phone calls and back and forth and confusion in the weeks ahead. Invest now in getting clarity and you will thank yourself later. To help you understand what success looks like, you might decide to write a future email. This email is intended to be sent to all of the people who are impacted by the goal you're working towards. And you're going to describe what you've achieved and how they benefit. Review this with your manager and you will quickly find out if your expectations are aligned or if they're different. If your goal is going to create something physical or something that can be seen, then you might decide to sketch out or mock up or draw what you think the end result will look like. Again, sit down with your manager, take a look at this and consider any questions that either of you have. Now that you understand what success looks like, it's time to plan your steps. It's obvious, of course, that planning comes after goal setting, but what we often forget is that there's more to plan than just the job itself. To illustrate this, I'm going to use the example of going for a run. If you decide that you're going to go for a run 3 days a week, you will likely put some time into your calendar on 3 different days during the week to go for that run. But that is only the first part of planning, because there are things that you need to do beforehand and afterwards to ensure that you're successful. Prior to the run, you need to make sure that you have the clothes that you need. You need to make sure that you're hydrated, well fed, and that you're at a location suitable for running. And afterwards, you're going to want to make sure that you've got time to stretch out, to shower and refresh, and to record the progress that you're going to want to review and reflect on later. It's the same in work. It's always easier to spot the obvious tasks, the key things that you need to do in order to achieve your goal. I want you to ask yourself what needs to be done before those tasks. And is there any admin or follow-up that you need to do after in order to cement them and support the next stage? Considering this right now is going to save you loads of time as you go forward, because you're not going to be backtracking and you're not going to be wondering why you suddenly have more work than you thought you had. Once you have planned your work, the next thing you have to do is put it in the calendar. This is so important. When it comes to quarterly goals, they don't replace your other work. On the contrary, you have to fit them in along with your regular meetings and tasks and the responsibilities of your job. One of the mistakes I see people make all the time is to try and squeeze in the work towards your quarterly goals after the day-to-day. If you have to do any firefighting or if there's any last minute requests, the goal work is more likely to then be pushed out. What I want you to do instead is to put time in to work towards your goals, whether that's professional development or performance, in first. So a couple of blocks during the week to work towards your goals. The blocks can be 45 to 90 minutes in duration, depending on your work, the amount of time that you need, and your other commitments. But put them in first and then fit everything else in around it. If you find that you're running out of space, that is a great cue to go to your manager and discuss your workload. On the topic of talking with your manager, we all know that it's good to track and record our progress against our goals. This goes for all goals, both at work or at home. One thing you can do to make this even better is to show your progress. And what I mean by this is when you are discussing your progress with your manager, I want you to show them how you were getting on. Show them a draft, show them a mock-up, show them what you've been working on so far. Discuss your thoughts and where you're planning on going next. By showing your progress and not just looking at the percentage of tasks complete, you are going to have better conversations around what's been done so far and what work is remaining. It keeps you both on the same page about what's being created, and your expectations will stay aligned. That's it when it comes to quarterly goals, so let's do a quick recap. Quarterly goals in the workplace are usually linked to higher annual goals. You can have two different types of quarterly goal. The first can be to do with professional development, and that's the development of your own skills, abilities and knowledge. And the second is performance related. That's the part that you play in working towards the company's overall objective. In working towards quarterly goals, the first thing you have to make sure is that you are clear on what success looks like and that you have the same idea as your manager. After that, make sure you plan for as much as possible. Consider the small tasks that you have to do before and after the bigger ones to make sure that you allow enough time. On the topic of time, prioritize your goal work first. Put in a couple of blocks of time every single week, 45 to 90 minutes long, to work towards your goals. And finally, when it comes to reporting on progress, don't just update your report or your spreadsheet. Show your progress. Talk about what you've been doing, what you've planned to do next, and get that feedback all along the way. If you want a simple place to track everything that is on your desk, you can download my one-page productivity system, which is called My Desk, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. Until next time, stay well and have a better workday.